Welcome back to the world with Randall Williams, and it's been a long week here at the Super Bowl. A long, long week. But today was the day. Today was the day we got to hear Kendrick Lamar speak at the Apple Music Super Bowl halftime show press conference. And I've seen mixed reactions. I've seen people who expected him to dive fully into the beef. I've seen people who have given Nadeska and Ebro their flowers. And I want to do a breakdown of it. I don't think today's video will be as long. I still haven't uploaded another video that I recorded on how I think he'll perform Not Like Us. I may combine the two. We'll see. Maybe not. I still need to do an Invincible breakdown. There's more work that needs to be done, period. But look, the Kendrick interview was cool. I thought it was cool. I thought it was a decent interview. It's the first time we've heard him speak since the Amazon interview with Jinx from Spotify for the Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers live in Paris. But since then, we haven't really heard him speak. He did the Harper's Bazaar interview. People were pissed off about that. I think, look, you have the right to feel however you want to feel about artists doing interviews. I'd say the one thing that this has taught me about music fans, or one thing I think that I'm starting to believe about music fans, is I don't think that there are a majority of music fans, period, that care about storytelling in music anymore. I think that they care more so about pushing a narrative about an artist. Like when the reactions that I'm seeing about Kendrick and Nadeska and Ebro's Ebro's interview, all of Kendrick's interview and their interviewing skills are just ridiculous. Like people, I think there's one side that's like appreciating this, and then there's a loud and wrong side that's saying Ebro and Nadeska weren't good, and how uh Kendrick's answers were bland and just like stupid shit, straight up.
I do believe at times they were nervous, but that's called being human, and Kendrick doesn't do many interviews. So, moving on.
I think. Well, let me give some background here because I just did a Super Bowl halftime show story for Bloomberg, which is my day job. So I know a good amount about this. Um, First off, I believe, but I don't know for a fact that it is in an artist's contract to perform when they're performing at the Super Bowl halftime show. They normally do an interview. There's only been one that was canceled. That was Maroon 5 years ago. Obviously, there was blowback from Kaepernick, and we know what happened there. The questions are pre-screened, point blank, period. Like the questions, he has seen he knows what he's going to be asked. They don't know his answers, but he knows what he's going to be asked, and you can tell by how they're interacting on stage. Does he like there's teleprompters in the room? Spoiler alert. Like it's just how it works when you get an artist, and you're honest, when you get an artist as large as Kendrick, as large as Rihanna, as large as Usher, as large as The Weeknd, as large as Dr. Dre and Snoop and all these performers, there's no way they're going to do a Super Bowl interview that's going to be seen everywhere by millions of people and not know what they're going to be asked. Like when you do a editorial interview, yeah, there's going to be people, thousands of people who see it, maybe millions of people who see it, but they're reading it. They're not watching it. Like the Super Bowl is the biggest stage an artist can perform on. And do I think that 50 million people will see that Kendrick interview? I don't know. We'll have to watch the YouTube numbers to figure it out. But uh, I don't think that this place, the Super Bowl, is where we want to see Kendrick address the beef. I'm like any other music fan. I want to know how we got here. I'm a fan of all three. Kendrick is my favorite rapper of all time. I'm not afraid to say that. Um, and I don't care what anybody thinks of it. But I enjoy all three's music, and I'd like to know how we got here and where does it begin? Dude, does it need to happen at the Super Bowl? No, because at some point the that conversation could become louder than the game. Yeah, people be like, "Oh, it's the Super Bowl, this or that," but do you really think the NFL wants to talk about the Super Bowl halftime show more than they want to talk about the actual game? The answer is no. What makes the most money? The Super Bowl or the Super Bowl halftime show? The Super Bowl, folks. Like this is it's dumb to think that Kendrick was going to get up there and tell the backstory of everything and how he was like, and he talked about the potency of where his style has evolved and how things have gone, um, and what it means to him in the sport of rap and look, like Drake said, Drake knows this is a sport. He treated it like it. He just lost. And look, transparently, if Kendrick didn't have the 2024 performance, do I think that he would still be performing at the halftime show if you erase 2024? No. I don't know that he would, because I think too much time has passed between Damn. Um, I think there are songs on Mr. Morale that could have been performed, but you're talking about a global audience. And when we're talking about moments, like think about Usher's 2023 when he performed, he had a series of concerts in Vegas where he captured the crowd. There were so many moments over the summer with with Kiki Palmer and fans in the crowd and things like that, where everyone was trying to go see this Usher show. Hove selected Usher. Kendrick's fresh off the battle. Everybody's talking about Kendrick. Everybody wants to see what's next. Like that, from like that to Euphoria to Not Like Us to Meet the Grams to I'm missing one. 616 in LA to Watch the Party Die to the Harper's Bazaar interview to GNX to, like, everybody's been waiting to see what he does. And he was the artist to do this. Yeah, I'm sure there's somebody who could have been nominated, but you're talking about cultural relevance here. It was Kendrick. Um, there's no way around that. No way around it. Do I think that Drake could have performed in years prior? Yes. Yes, I think that Drake's biggest year to me was 2018. Like, Scorpion ran the streets, and I think he could have performed. That would have been the 2019 Super Bowl. That I'm not sure where that one was, but the year after that was 2020 in Miami. He could have done it. It just didn't happen. So, going back to my point on this, the Super Bowl is not the place you you talk about rap beef. Where he does that, I don't know. Will he ever do it? I think so, but on his terms. Like, if there's one thing that we know about Kendrick, he's not going to talk to nobody that he don't want to talk to, and he's not going to do anything that he don't want to do. So, and one of the, there's another thing that I think is important to talk about with this is the way that he speaks about himself. I think is very interesting. Like, he talks about being present and sometimes not identifying with the person that he was in a previous moment. Like, yes, I was that person. I'm not that person right now. And you go back to the Harper's Bazaar interview where SZA asked him, was he angry? And he said no. But he inflicted the emotion and wherever he drew the power from to create the songs that he did. That's how he conveyed the energy. Is he who he was in that moment right now? I'm sure he could go to that place again. I mean, GNX whacked out Murals on the first track. The energy of it, just like it, just like he just talking. And for me, I'm waiting to see what else happens. Like, there's more moments to come. Who knows what happens on Super Bowl Sunday? Does he drop something? Does the Kendrick and SZA collab album come out? I don't know. I don't know what possibly could happen, but I don't think the Super Bowl is the place for it, and I don't think the NFL would want that. Now, look, transparently, I sent Kendrick questions for the Super Bowl halftime show story that I did, and he declined to comment. He's doing media obligations that he wants to do, that he has to do. So there was this Apple Music interview. There's another interview tomorrow with Timothy Chalamet. I believe that's how you say his name. Um, I don't know what that interview is going to be about. I knew that there was a second interview coming. I didn't know where it was going to be, but that's my take on this Kendrick interview. I thought he was thoughtful. I thought the questions were good, but I never sat down. I was one of the first people to sit down in that room. I never once thought that he was going to sit down and break down, like, yeah, this is how it went down. Like, nah, that's not the place for it. Who he chooses to sit down with, I don't know. I don't know. I truly have no idea. There's a lot of media talent out there, but we'll have to stay tuned. Like, this is the part of music that I enjoy the most. Like, we get to have conversations about things and think whatever we want to think until an artist speaks, and then you get to choose. You get to decide if you would like to choose to believe them or not. And being a journalist, I got a deep respect for Ebro and Nadeska and the work that they put in to get to where they're at today. And I think that the questions, while there probably were limitations on what they could and could not ask, they were good questions. And they had authentic responses. And I thought Kendrick was thoughtful too. That's where I'm at with it. I think that anything else that's like, oh, this lame interview, they're not really getting to the meat and the bones. Don't be an idiot. Don't be an idiot. Do you really think the NFL is $100 billion business? Their biggest night of the year, you think that the conversation that they want is to be about a rap beef? No. No. It's wrong. Like, yes, do I think that Kendrick will perform Not Like Us tomorrow? Or excuse me, Not Like Us on Sunday? Yes. Will it be a part of the conversation? Yes. But guess what's going to happen? We are going to turn on our TVs on ABC, NBC, Fox, CNN, ESPN, FS1. And you know what they're going to be talking about? What happened in the Super Bowl game, not the halftime show. I'm sure there'll be a small mention of it. There will be podcasts that talk about it, but they're not going to spend the bigger channels that pay these media bills are not going to be discussing the halftime show that long. The culture will. But there is no there is no media deals to the culture. So these cultural conversations take place when the artists within it guide it to that. There are like the power has shifted hands. Elliot Wilson has talked about this a lot, and how like it's honestly the root of him hating. But how artists get to choose who they want to speak to. Kai Cenat makes a lot of people feel comfortable. He puts a lot of work in. He's a really fun person to be around, it seems like. And I think that more artists are trying to position themselves and make these interviews feel less tense. Like, oh, all eyes on me. I got to say the right thing. And streaming has been the way to go. And I think there are other streamers who make people feel comfortable too, which means the journalists have to elevate. They have to be better in ways that, you know, make an artist comfortable and setting up interviews and making someone feel comfortable enough to sit down with you and have a in-depth conversation. That's not lost, but the appreciation, I don't think the appreciation level for it is lower because it doesn't happen as much. But if a 2-hour Kendrick interview dropped tomorrow, I guarantee you it would have 1 million views in a day. But it's about when he wants to speak, when these artists want to speak. And so when you get a moment like this, you should value it instead of like, they didn't say what I wanted to say. That's like an album dropping and being like, they didn't rap about what I wanted to rap about. Like, you got to accept people where they're at. And sometimes that's difficult. Like, people will let you down. We set expectations of people all the time, and uh they fall short of that. I'll be the first to say, when Honestly Nevermind dropped, I thought that was right after the Churchill Downs verse. I thought he was coming with bars. And he came out with some dance music. I was not happy. Um, but it is what it is. Like, it is what it is. You move on. I think that if you're frustrated by this interview, then you got to grow up some. That's where I'm at, and it remains to be seen what happens at the halftime show. Um, this video is definitely going to be on its own. I'll post a other prediction on Saturday, but yeah, that was the Kendrick Lamar's Apple Music Super Bowl halftime show interview. It was a lot of fun to be there and see my favorite artist of all time speak. Yeah, I've seen Kendrick perform 3 times now. It'll be 4th on Sunday. So that's all I got for you all. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Of course, I'm engaging with y'all in the comments, and I will have an Invincible breakdown of the first 3 episodes sometime soon. But I got to get through this Super Bowl week, and I'll jump in. So thank you all for staying with me. I appreciate every single subscriber, and this is The World with Randall Williams. Y'all have a good one.